Hey, this is Matt. Once again, we're about to the videos of the paid request this time for the movie reviewer next door. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the 2023 film Lady Ballers. Now, if you don't know what this is from the Daily Wire. That's the people like Ben Shapiro and all those guys that, a lot of movies in Hollywood are very left-leaning, so then you have the more right-leaning. Daily Wire is one of those companies. And they started to make and produce some movies. Run, Hide, Fight, I didn't mind. That was one about the high school, and there's some bad guys taking over some teenagers, and the girl who's trained by her dad, Thomas Jane, she takes charge. And I didn't mind that film for what it was. They also did a Gina Carano Western, which I remember not being big on. I don't remember if I hated it, but Terror on the Prairie or something. And now we have this comedy. Now, before I get into the plot of the film, which, I mean, the title, some people say, well, Joanna Man did it before it. Okay, the story is, first we're in 2008, where this high school basketball team, they win, and we get to know a little bit about the characters. Cuts to present day. Our lead character is his coach, and he's trying to find a new job. He's been let go of his previous job. Meets with one of his former players, which now they're at this drag, like a restaurant where you dress in drag. And one thing leads to another. Hey, you're a fast runner, let me put you into this event. But the person still has their drag stuff on. So then they think, oh, he's a transgender, so go in the race. And it's trying to take a bit of the piss out of how there are men who transition to women, but then they go into these women Olympics, sporting events, calling themselves women. And then you have actual women going, well, wait a minute, I mean, the physiology is different. And because of that, then it makes it a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. So some of those folks are winning. It's a bit unfair. I mean, there is a bit of a controversy about it that people don't bring up, because then you're looked at as a phobe, or you're looked at as anything of the sort. I mean, no, people are actually trying to have a conversation about it. But you're not allowed to have conversations about it, apparently. Because if you are trying to have a conversation, then you're an ist or a phobe. I'm like, no, it's called having a discussion. But, go figure. So this reporter, she sees this and she likes the idea, and even though she knows what's going on, this could be a big fame payday for her. So how about you two get into more events? So they decide to get the basketball team from high school. You all don't dress like women. You all going to be women. And trying to take the piss out of the PC culture. Trying to take the piss out of the left. Granted, there's the part of me that's like, okay, I'm tired of seeing politics in movies. There's still a lot of politics in the movie. Granted, there's the other part of my brain that's like, it's kind of fun to see the other side get poked at, because we've seen so many of the one side. It is kind of fun to see the other side. Granted, it falls in the category, though, that aside from a handful of moments, I didn't find the film that funny. There are a couple moments that made me chuckle. I can appreciate what it's doing. Because, I mean, if we have like 30 comedies doing this way, it's fine to have, one or so comedies go the other way. Have a couple more to even things up. But at the same time, while I can appreciate making fun of the overly PC crowd and all that stuff, it doesn't help that the acting is not that great because they could not get Hollywood actors. Probably nobody wanted to do this film. So a lot of people they hire are people that worked at the Daily Wire, and I hate to break it to them, but they're not great actors. I think having good established actors could have helped a lot. I think fine-tuning the script where I thought the film ran a bit too long. I think about 15 minutes at least could have been cut out. The characters at the end of the day are pretty meh. They're not characters I would find endearing or likable or really care if they won or if they endured and what's going on. In particular, the lead guy, the coach, which is Jeremy Boring, which that's a unfortunate last name because it kind of fits. He's a co-founder of Daily Wire. He's also the director of the film. And he plays the coach who's the lead guy. That's probably my biggest issue with the film. Not because I have an issue with Daily Wire. I don't. I think part of me appreciates taking the piss out of a lot of stuff going on in the world. But you always have to be careful because if the pendulum's swinging one way, you do want to set it back. But if you send it all the other way, it's still an extreme. It's just an extreme on the opposite end. Keep it even is the best way to do it. Some would say South Park. A lot of times when South Park writes stuff, the way they do things. And maybe if you had that kind of writing in this, maybe that could have helped. Even if you want to go, okay, maybe lean more towards making fun of the PC, fine, but anyway, the code, like, I'm sorry, he's not an actor. He's not that good. I don't think he has the charisma. I don't think he has the lead comedic appeal. His character just came off as unlikable. And I'm trying to sit there going, okay, I don't care about you, dude. I have nothing against the guy personally. I honestly haven't seen any of the stuff he's done. I know he's a co-founder, but I don't know if he does videos or stuff. I don't know. I just mean as an actor and a director, it would have been better if he had someone who was more either established or more experienced. But again, on the flip side, for what I understand, they could not get that. They couldn't find anyone. I'm like, really? Like, even these people that felt like they were canceled, like, nobody? I'm like, apparently not. I guess they felt if they did, they would never be able to work in Hollywood again. And I'm like, yeah, the same Hollywood that loves Roman Polanski. But anyway, I digress. Like I said, there are a couple moments that did make me chuckle. Early on in the 2008 high school basketball, when you're trying to know who the characters are, one's picking on the other going, yeah, your mom's a catch. And then the other goes, she's your mom too. Something about that delivery did kind of get a chuckle out of me. When it gets to present day and Jeremy Boring, because I forget that character's name, the coach. When the coach is taking his daughter to school, his daughter's about 8 years old. Someone's trying to talk to him, and he can't hear her. And she's got a mask on. But then she has a second mask on, and she has like a third mask on. And he still can't hear her, and then takes the whole thing. It's like, see, much better. I thought that was kind of funny. Just the over-exaggeration, of the mask. Did I wear one? Yes. Just because I didn't care. I'm like, cool, fine. Did I think it really did much to help? Nah. But I'm like, whatever. It doesn't bother me. But yeah, if someone's trying to talk to you, it's like, what do you say? Is a dick in your mouth? Can you take it out so I can hear you? Mr. Marbles? Is a marble madness in your mouth? It's in my pants? Would your mouth like to be in my pants? No? Too bad. It's a party down there. But anyway, that was kind of funny with the mask. Like, okay, that was kind of funny. The 8-year-old being the most knowledgeable on what transphobic is, and it gets to a point later on she actually teaches the whole team what gender fluid is. And it's the whole idea that the 8-year-old knows, and it gets into the underlying themes of schools are teaching these kids all this stuff. As the coach says, how you know that? I'm 8 years old. Yeah, you're 8 years old. You should know this. But that's the thing. If you had actors, again, maybe they couldn't do it. So if they couldn't do it, then I don't know what to say. What else you could have done? But it just like it would just hit a bit stronger with better actors. There's a coach dealing with her ex who has a new hubby, played by Matt Walsh. Which, I mean, I'm not a Matt Walsh guy. I will admit, I kind of didn't. I was fascinated by his documentary, What's a Woman? I will admit that. That was a very interesting bit of business that I know that people got very heated about, but I did find it interesting. But I don't know, some of the other stuff the guy says, I don't always have to agree with the guy. It's like anything. The Was a Woman documentary, I thought that was an interesting bit. The whole thing, what was it he said? Gay people shouldn't be married because marriage means you should procreate and sex and stuff. I might have gotten it wrong, I apologize, but it was something like that when he was on Joe Rogan, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Who cares? They want to get married, what do you do? Does it, as long as they don't steal my food or steal my wallet or anything else, I don't care. Not bothering me, so I don't give a shit. But anyway. And he plays like a hippie type of dude. But like I said, the coach gets fired from his job. He gets a new job as his drag show bar. Sees one of his former students there, former players, I should say. Tests how fast the guy is. And that's what I mean. Like, yeah, there's moments that made me chuckle, but there's other moments I thought really lame running gags. Like the redneck that comes out and looks at, like, how much? And that guy appears again and again. How much? I just said how much. $2. Get the hell out of here. Oh. See, that's a joke that was funny and better off dead. I want my $2. I want my $2. Like, that's a joke that worked well as a running gag. This, not really. Just didn't find it funny. Not even once in a while I got a smirk in the first half of the film. Like when they go in to go to this event and sign up. This woman is being very picky and very prissy, and then sees this guy with women's clothes on and goes, oh my god. Oh my crap, I teased an ally. And the threat of, we wouldn't want to get social media involved in this, would we? I thought that was kind of funny because that does happen a lot. It's kind of like the joke in Suburban Commando in the 90s. This is in the 90s. We're going to sue you. It's like, now, we're not going to sue you. We're going to social media you. So I thought that was kind of funny. Also, when they do well, people keep using the term stunning and brave or stunning and pretty, and they overuse it. Because that was a term that got overused a lot. Stunning and brave and all that. And to this day, still gets used. In a variety of things. But again, it just... the characters... like, I think what it is, like, I was kind of not minding it. Although, again, Jeremy, boring... just didn't care for him as a coach. I just thought he was very lackluster. I don't think he had much of a personality. He didn't have that comedic spark that you need in the lead. But when they get all the other players and you see where they're going, okay, where they're at in life now. Two of them, they have a car dealership and then they have a bachelor pad, and the joke is that they have two beds, so if they have sex, they're having sex in the same room. Or one of them is a mountain man and he hates badgers. He hates badgers because this badger mascot did some humping action, so he hates badgers, and he decides to dress like these Davy Crockett or Grizzly Adams. And then he has the badger mascot guy in the basement. Left him there. So now it's like very, very dark. Like this guy's a murderer. Or could be, because he never... I don't think he ever gets that guy out of that prison basement sex dungeon, whatever he has. I know that's supposed to be the laugh because of how shocking it is. It's like... just very like dark and depressing of a joke when this guy did nothing wrong. And then later on, nothing really ever comes of that. The whole badger, like the mascot thing. Nothing really ever comes of that later on. There's one bit where he sees someone wearing a tiger mascot, and now he freaks out about that. Because there's a type of... I'm like, okay, so it's not just about badgers, just about mascots in general. But then after that, it's kind of just dropped and they never bring it up again. They have the towel boy who's now rich. Which, I don't know, sometimes it reminds me of the Bench Warmers, that movie. I think mainly that thing, like John Lovitz, and then the way he got rich and he has everything. I don't know, for some reason remind me of the towel boy here. I don't know why. And the cameos, like Ben Shapiro is there as a referee. And I think at times they were teetering where they're getting their message more so than the movie, the story, the comedy of it. And it's like, okay, folks, be careful, because, you know, we're complaining about this in our face. Don't do the same thing on the other side, because then you're just kind of hypocritical on that. I like you taking a little bit of the piss, because when you have 9% this, 10% that, okay, you know, that makes it seem a little bit more refreshing. And I think maybe like I wanted to like this more than I did. Because at the end of the day, while a couple moments did make me chuckle, while I appreciate what it's trying to do, if I'm being honest, was I truly a fan of this? No. No, I would never see this film again. I mean, I didn't think the trailer was that funny, but I'm like, okay, I get what it's trying to do, and I've explained that like 10 times. But did I think it was hilarious? No. I think there's a lot more lame bits of humor than successful bits of humor. Again, the characters. Can people really sit there and tell me the characters are noteworthy at all? Even compared to silly comedies like Major League, or I'm trying to think of the sports comedies. Necessary Roughness. Like you look at Scott Bakula and Sinbad and E. Honda, Jason Bateman, Major League, Wesley Snipes, Tom Berenger, Charlie Sheen. You know, that type of stuff. Even, Dodgeball or films of that nature. They just felt much more entertaining. And because, again, number one, you're trying to, like, nudge in those political bits, which is funny for a bit, but, when you keep pushing, it's like, okay, dude, like, I don't want political on the other side, I just want a comedy. Let me just forget about being a comedy. And no, that's actually not what I'd want you to do. Don't forget being a comedy, And also, like, some weird things, like, there's F words being said. Why were they bleeped? Now, maybe it's the version I saw, but the version I saw, like, the F words were bleeped. Again, maybe I saw a different version. But at one point, like, why are these F words bleeped? And I'm thinking, well, were they on, like, a TV and then they bleeped it? But it didn't seem like that. And there's certain mistakes, like there's a bit where a guy goes, I got sponsored by Maybelline. And he shows his phone, but there's nothing, it looks like this, like there's nothing on the phone. I got sponsored by Maybelline, but there's nothing on the phone. Like, and it's a phone that looks like it's from 2003. Like, it doesn't look like a phone like this. And this came out 2023. Like, what does the one guy phone, like, not look like? And I don't know. That was a bit weird. And that's what I mean. Like, the second half of the film just really killed it for me. Because the second half, when they're playing the games and they're doing well, and then you either have your coach dealing with the journalist who seems to be very controlling. You have the other players, there's really not much they get in terms of development. One thing that I thought was really kind of, I don't know. This I thought they went a bit too far. I thought it was kind of lame. There is a character, the first one that Coach sees, his player from back in the day, at that drag show bar. That the more he plays, the more he's like, actually, I think I do want to be a woman. I think I do want to be this. And listen, at the end of the day, since this movie brings up, this is what I feel at the end of the day. Before I did go on with the movie. I think if you are a guy and you want to be a woman, as long as you're not hurting yourself, as long as you're not hurting other people, as long as you're of the appropriate age, I would say 18, say 20. 20 years old, you're out of high school, in college, you've lived enough of a life to make your own decision, your own body, go for it. But don't get mad if someone goes, oh, okay, you're a man who became a woman. That's not an insult. They're just saying, hey, that's a piece of chicken, that's a piece of turkey. Okay? You're just stating the fact. Don't get uppity and upset and angry about it. Because then it's like, are you having like, it's like you want to make an enemy or you want to be a victim or anything of the sort. Like, come on. There are people that do that and they go too far. But there are people that are not trying to do that. They're not trying to say it that way. They're not trying to maintain it that way. They go, you're a man who became a woman, so physiology, you're a man. but you want to dress up, or that's fine. I have no issues with that. But then again, don't get angry and upset when people say, and they're not saying it in a to be mocking way. Don't get upset with those people. If people are mocking you, it's okay, fine. If you say, well, fuck you then. Okay, well, people mock me all the time for the way I look or the way I talk or how boring I sound. And I'm like, well, fuck you then. So I can understand, we all can understand that. But if you say you're a man pretending a woman, then no, I don't think you should. A man who became a woman should be in women's sporting events, because the discrepancies of that. And if you can't look at that in a logical sense, then it's like, oh, come on, man, or woman, like, come on, like, you have to be at least reasonable on certain fronts. Same with if someone wants to be gay, or someone wants to be bi, or someone wants to be anything. Again, if you grew up and you choose that, if you're a furry, if you're whatever, as long as you're not hurting yourself, as long as you're not hurting other people, and as long as you're not being some judgmental prick that if someone asks a legitimate question, or they want a discussion, or you get easily offended because the wind blows left instead of right, or up instead of down, or through the curve of the mountains, or your tits or ass, or both or neither, and get easily offended, like, as long as you don't do that, then be, a regular person. What's regular? Just have a level head, then it's all good. I just don't think kids should be involved, because I think kids should worry about the fundamentals of history, math, science, in terms of oxygen, how the elements work. Well, maybe it's too much for little kids, but ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, building blocks, all that stuff. I don't think they should have to be worried about being taught with that until they're like maybe the later parts of high school, 17 or so. I know I'm being very naive, but I'm just saying, what I'm saying. The reason I mention all of that is that there's a grown guy in this movie who says, yeah, I think I feel like I want to be a woman. And then Jeremy Boring pretty much says, no, you're not. And you're just confused. And blah, blah, blah. And you're just confused and blah, blah, blah. Like, really kind of tearing down on the guy verbally. And then by the end of the film, it's like, that's all forgotten, and he was just confused, and the very notion that a guy wanted to be a woman was such a off, terrible idea. You're just confused, and then I guess he was confused, and now he's not that at the end. I'm like, that seems really kind of screwed up. And I thought that was kind of... Because if I call it on one side, when the left does it, then I'm going to call on the other side too. Because I've said before, politics, I think all politics suck. The left, the right, the up, the down, the up my ass. The president here, Dominic, I don't like any of them. I think all politicians suck, because all they care about is, how do I get voted? I'm going to say what you want me to say. I'm going to make you hear what you want to hear. And you like what you hear? Vote for me. Oh, I'm actually elected? Well, I'm not going to do any of that. I think, the more things change, the more they stay the same. But, that's just me. So I didn't like that aspect. I didn't buy the coach changing his mind and all that. I didn't mind the 8-year-old girl who plays the daughter. There's a conversation they have where she wants to be a boy because it seems like boys are better at everything. And then why are a team want to call him David? Jeremy Boring is like saying all the ways women are better. Women are better at this. Women are better than that. So, giving respect to women and what they're better at. I didn't mind that scene. But it felt like the movie was trying to be a bit too sentimental, a bit too late, where the team forfeits because this isn't right to do, so they let the little girls play, and the other team let them get a few shots in, although eventually they do win and beat the little kids, but I don't know, it just felt very long and very long-winded, and again, the players, I didn't really care about them. Their character work or arc or whatever story they had was kind of forgotten by the second half. The basketball scenes weren't that exciting, weren't that thrilling of basketball sequences. These even like Major League or like the baseball, White Man Can't Jump, the basketball scenes, at least they were filmed in an exciting way. Here, I didn't feel that way. And while again, there are a few ideas that are funny, I think the acting is very subpar. I think the movie ran too long. There's a couple ones I thought they went a bit too, not too far, but I didn't really agree with what they did. The basketball scenes weren't that exciting to watch. And again, it's like, okay, we're going to have all these cameos from Daily Wire. Granted, the people watching this, I think someone said it best. Okay, if you're making this for people who love the Daily Wire, cool. But will it entice people who don't know jack squat about it? I don't know. Because if you know nothing about it, there may be like a lot of cameos they put in here and you're like, who's that? Or, okay, huh? Okay, yeah, Matt, was it Candace Owens, I think, is at the very, very end? I think it's her. And it's like, okay. So yeah, did I hate the film? Hate's a strong word, no. But I wasn't a fan of it either. It just, again, I appreciate a couple of jokes, but like I said, I think it needed like some better comedic writers. They need to have, I mean, if they were not able to have this opportunity, it's too bad, but yeah, it would have helped to have tighter pacing, a better cast, a better lead, change quite a bit of the script, take out 15 minutes. Like I said, I just have too many problems, and especially in the second half, that I would never see the film again. So, I've seen far worse comedies, especially in the past few years, but I can't say I'm a fan of it either. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.